Hey, what is up YouTube? This is Pyre here with another one of my videos, and today we are finally going to look at my digital library for games. And just for today we're going to look at the Steam games, but for next week or the next time I do this, it will be for GOG as well as the other accounts that I have. GOG has a ton, but I also have games on Epic, on Origin, but there's not really that many, but I'll do those I'll do that along with my GOG games, because I tried to do all my games at once, like just combine everything, and the video ended up being like 2 hours, and I was like, yeah, no, that's too long. So I'll spare you guys that. Let's just go with the Steam list for now, and we'll go from there. So I have 659 games, so something like, you know, not that much. And yeah, so I'm just gonna go through some of these games, like just comment on them, see if there's anything like substantial to say. Some of these I haven't played, but yeah, we're just gonna go from there. And the first game here is 20XX. I reviewed this, played the hell out of it. I enjoy the hell out of it. 30XX, not so much. I feel like it's still in early access, so there's a lot of things left for them to do. 7 Days to Die, haven't played it. Adventure Quest 3D, I reviewed that as well. It was pretty fun, you know, especially being a free-to-play MMO. Really enjoyable. Agorist Generations of War, I tried to get into because they had this thing where it's like after a generation, after you've completed your quest, you get to mate with one of the characters, and that'll produce the offspring, and you'll be able to play as that offspring. That sounds freaking fantastic. The problem is everything in between just boring. It's one of the most boring games I've played, and I think I played 0 for like 5 seconds, 44 minutes apparently, and yeah, I just couldn't go. I was like, yeah, screw this, and I've never revisited the game since. Age of Empires, classic. Age of Empires 2, classic. Age of Empires 3, classic. Yeah, there's not a lot of time on here, but trust me, I've put a lot more time into these games than is here. I had it on a jewel case, the gold edition, so yeah, I've definitely put a lot of time. I just haven't put it in these particular iterations, but I definitely put a lot of time in these games, especially back in the 90s. Age of Mythology, now that's another classic. Again, no time here, but I had this growing up. I played a lot of this on XP, so it was a lot of fun. Alpha Protocol is a game I would love to talk about, but I'm not sure if it's something that either you guys want to see, or you know what the best way to tackle it is. I played this on the 360. It was a rough game, but I still played it constantly. I think I beat it like 4 times, but I haven't gone back to it in a long time, so it'd be interesting to see if it does hold up despite all the bugs. Arborea, awesome game. Origami, I tried to get into it, and it feels more like a puzzle game than an actual stealth game. It was reminding me, at least, like, you know, kind of looking at it from a 3D stealth game with, like, you know, ninja-esque things and the theme. So I was thinking like, oh, you know, it'd be something similar to Tenchu, but nah, disappointment. Ark, I've got to get back to Ark one of these days. I had a lot of fun with it, but now that I've upgraded my computer since I've played it, I want to go back to it and see if it's better optimized or if it still runs like hot garbage. It's just a problem. It takes up like, you know, 200 gigs or a crazy amount. It takes up mad space, so that's why I haven't downloaded it. The Arma series, I have these games, but I've actually never played them, unfortunately. Maybe one of these days. Batman Arkham series, classic series. I reviewed Arkham Knight. I don't think Arkham Knight is as bad as, you know, people make it out to be. I mean, I put a bunch of time into it. I still had a great time. Battletech is a game I love and hate at the same time. Like, there's so many issues I have with this game from the combat perspective, but I really love the idea of just building, you know, being a mech mercenary squad, going to different planets, taking different missions. Like, that is awesome. I put a ton of time into it, but it's frustrating too. I've thought about doing a review as well, but we'll see. Remember when BioShock Infinite was like the most talked about game ever? Yeah, I haven't played it at all, but remember when BioShock Infinite was like everywhere? Now, like, you rarely hear anyone talk about it. Bladestorm Nightmare, I put a lot of time into this. I have yet to beat it though. I beat the regular Bladestorm on the 360, but man, it goes on and on and on. That's really the problem. It's the pacing is just not very good. Bright Memory, I've played that. I've played the the full completed game. I'm actually very disappointed that it was so short. I thought it was going to be a lot more, but whatever. Casino Inc. is a game from back in the day. I've played it a little bit here. I don't know why it says 0 minutes, but I've played it a little bit on the Steam version, and I was able to get it to run. Fun game. Definitely something I should talk about one of these days. Chaos Galaxy, I tried to get into this. I put a lot of time into it, but the combat just sucks because the AI has so many bonuses. It's insane. The developer will never admit this because I've tried to. He acts like everyone's on the same field, but he's lying. He just doesn't want to tell you that the AI has bonuses. He just doesn't want to say it. Code Vein, I did play Code Vein for a little bit. Some people wanted me to review this initially, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling this game personally. Which sucks because it is a Dark Souls, anime Dark Souls, but yeah, it's too anime for me. Crazy Taxi. Crusader Kings 2 and 3 put a ton of time in both of these. I've went really far in one campaign, a couple campaigns for Crusader Kings 3, but I haven't gone back to it. I love these games, but yeah, I should go back to it because the DLC did come out and I did have it, but I haven't played it enough, or I haven't played it since then. But I really should get back to this one day. The Culture series, nobody really talks about it. Cultures and Cultures Northland. These two are a ton of fun. The Culture series, I can probably do a review on it. Very enjoyable games. Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, as well as the remastered edition for 1. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? I've talked about these in length. I've played them at length. And yeah, I mean, if you look at the time, you know, 34 for the remastered. 114 for the second one, don't ask, and the third one I put 139. So I put a lot of time in the series. That's all I gotta say. Decaya Logos, one of the most disappointing games I've ever played. I thought this was actually gonna be like a really good hybrid of Breath of the Wild and Dark Souls, but it failed at both. The story itself was decent, and you know, I like the art style, but it wasn't a very good game. Poorly designed and disappointing all around. The Deus Ex series, I did a trust me, I've played more of the GOG version, that's why it's only 5 minutes. I did a tier list for this one. I've basically beaten them all except Mankind Divided. I wasn't able to get working, as I've said in that video, but I want to give this a shot. I really want to dive into Mankind Divided and get it to work, because I honestly really enjoy the Deus Ex series. So hopefully I can get it to work. Divinity Dragon Commander, I got a lot to say about this one. Dragon's Dogma, I played the GOG version, so that's why there's no time here. I put like 60 hours on the GOG version, and yeah, honestly, this is one of my favorite games of all time. One of my favorites for the 7th gen. Played the hell out of this on the Xbox 360, and I played the hell out of it some more on the PC. Really enjoyed this game. One of my favorites, and I've done a review on it. Dual Gear VR, another one I did a review on. I think they've been postponing an update to like expand the game, and I think they ended up splitting the update into 2 days. But I do want to get back into it one day. Dungeon Siege 1, 2, and 3. I reviewed all 3 of them. Very spaced out. The first one I reviewed was Dungeon Siege 2 a long ass time ago. And then I reviewed Dungeon Siege 1 a long time after that, and then Dungeon Siege 3 last year. It was either last year or the year before. Disappointing game. Disappointing way to end the series, honestly. Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, classic. Dungeons and Dragons Chronicles of Mystara. Now this game, I remember discovering it from a Pro Jared video and him talking about it. I was like, why have I never heard of this beat 'em up before, and why more people don't talk about it? It's freaking fantastic. I mean, it's got RPG elements, it's got diverting paths. It's really fun. By RPG elements, I don't mean like, it has leveling up, but not in the traditional sense. After certain levels, you will level up, but it's done like automatically. It's not like, oh, from the amount of XP you have or anything like that. So that's what I meant by the RPG elements. Anyways, really fun. Depending on who's on your party, can change like the direction and stuff. Honestly, like I said, I really love this game. It's a lot of fun, and it doesn't overstay its welcome, unlike, you know, other beat 'em up. So pretty good length and a lot of replay value. Skyrim. I mean, what else can I say? What can I really say about Skyrim that hasn't been said before? So let's move on. Elderborn, I tried to get into as like a first-person Dark Souls. I was like, oh, that's awesome, but it kind of sucks and it doesn't feel very right. Like, it just everything felt off about it. So I was done. There's not a lot of customization either, so I was like, nah, I'm done. Empyrean, I still routinely go back to this every once in a while. I haven't gone back to it recently just because I'm not really in a survival, you know, game kind of move. But maybe one of these days I'll go back to it. Enter the Gungeon. I was not that into it. Like, I was really hyped for this game, and I played it. I was like, not feeling it. Europa Universalis 4. Remember when people liked this game? Fallout 3 and 4. Like I said, I've did a tier list to this. Fallout 4, like, I put a lot of time in the Fallout series. Definitely enjoy the whole series, and I ranked them. So if you want that, you can take a look. I have the Far Cry games. I've only really played Primal for like a handful of hours and then just never picked it up. I don't know what it is about the Far Cry games, or really any of the Ubisoft like open world games. They all feel the same. Flat Out Ultimate Carnage. Love the Flat Out series. For Honor, I played the hell out of For Honor. Like, I put a lot of time into this game, and it was one of the very few like multiplayer games that I actually really enjoyed. I enjoyed the different classes, the different fighting styles, like how deep the fighting is for each character. It's a lot of fun. It just suffers from horrible imbalance, and the community basically died, or at least became very small. I shouldn't say died because people over exaggerate that, but the community really became small, and honestly a lot of my friends kind of gave up by the time I really started to get my swing going, which is unfortunate. I honestly, when it comes to For Honor, I would really love to see a single player RPG with the combat elements of this game. That would be freaking awesome. Gas Guzzlers Extreme, I played the hell out of this at one point, and then I just stopped. It was like mad fun, and then I was just like, all right, the game is really short and it gets over. Cool thing about this game is LGR voices one of the characters, so one of the voices you could pick for your character, so that's pretty cool. I have not played the God Eater games yet. I've had them and I got a pretty good sale for it, but I haven't yet to like play them. I don't know if I should just play the first one and continue there, or just go into the second one. I don't know. Gordian Quest was a game I wanted to review, but it was very easy, so I should probably go back to this and see what they've improved. It's like this card battling, yeah, basically like card battling strategy game. It's a lot of fun, and I like what they were doing, but it got very repetitive very quickly, so I ended up not reviewing this. The Grid series, I've only really played the first one, and the first one everyone says is the best. So I played it, and it was really good. Like, there's a lot that I like about it, the career mode especially, but my problem I had was just the AI was just so random. Like, you would never change the difficulty level, and you'd go from like one race being in first place, no problem, and then the next race is just, you can't even place like top 10. It's so random the way the AI works, even if you don't touch the difficulty at all. Grim Dawn, I played it. Yeah, it's an action RPG of the time. I'm just not into the genre anymore. I'm not really into Diablo games or Diablo likes. It's just not really my thing. Grip, I played it because I thought this game was going to be interesting, but yeah, AI. A lot of these racing games suffer from AI issues. Guild 3, disappointing, but I heard that they've improved a lot, so maybe I'll go back to it. Who knows? Guilty Gear series, this is the first one. I played it on the PlayStation 1 a lot when I was a kid. I played the demo a lot, and I think it's still fun with friends, but do not take this game seriously. Like, if you take Guilty Gear, especially the first one, seriously, you're not gonna have a good time. You gotta just go in it like silly as hell. I have Overture, which I played a little bit on the 360 but not on PC. Revelator, and then Sign I played a lot of. Revelator I didn't play as much. I'm not really into fighting games like I used to. I mean, I play Hellish Court and Soul Calibur 6, but other than that I don't really play any other fighting games. Gunmetal, really fun game. Gunfire Reborn, even funner game. Yeah, I put a lot of time into this one. I reviewed it. It's a lot of fun. Hand of Fate, I played it. The combat really drags it down. Great concept, but the combat just sucks. Hearts of Iron series, I haven't really put a lot of time in the Hearts of Iron series compared to stuff like the Crusader Kings series and Europa Universalis. I think it's just because the time period really restricts what you can do, so it doesn't have that replay value. Although it is a lot of fun. I enjoy the hell out of it more than I did the third one and the previously mentioned Hellish Court. So not even 10 hours in this game, but it's still fun as hell. Like, I've been closely, it's currently installed, and I've been closely monitoring the development of this game. to see like the new characters. And anytime friends are over, like I just play this. It's great local multiplayer fun. Definitely recommend this game. Very similar to Bushido Blade if you've played it. If you've played Bushido Blade, it's very similar to it, so I recommend it. Hellpoint, don't recommend it. Heroic Legend of Elena, another one that I've done a review on, and I haven't gone back to this in a while, but it's still, I would say it's still fun. I've beaten it. It's very similar to like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series. I've beaten it with one of the characters, but I'll definitely go back to it one of these days. The Hitman series, Legendary series. I think Codename 47 is up on here, but it's not really the good one. But Hitman 2, I played a lot of. It's not on here because I think it's the GOG version that I play. But Hitman 2, that's one of my favorites. Horizon Zero Dawn, I've gone back to this to play it. I've never beaten it. Maybe one of these days, but it's just, there's something about it that's like I would say overall, I think it's a really good game, but there's just something about it that like takes me off with it. So I haven't gone back to play it. Hover Revolt, I wanted to do a review on this a while ago, but I haven't played it since. It's a lot of fun, very similar to Jet Set Radio if you like that, and the speed is fantastic. Some of the greatest momentum ever. Really fun if you want to just like mess around and jump all over the city. A lot of fun there, just exploring and stuff. Imperator Rome, I'm hesitant if I should do a review of this game or just play it normally. I don't know. Injustice 2, played a lot of this. It's DC superheroes fighting each other. Don't take this game seriously. I don't think I think people take fighting games a little too seriously nowadays, where everything has to be perfectly balanced. Like, let's be honest. Do you really think Harley Quinn should beat Superman? Like, it's just, there's inherent imbalances that are going to be there. It's just, that's just superheroes in general, but I don't want to get into it. And Jet Set Radio, as I mentioned before. I haven't really played the Steam version, which I think is just a port of the Dreamcast version. Katana Kami. This is basically like a spin-off of the Way of the Samurai series. Not very fun. I thought it was going to be really good, and I like the idea of it, but it's just boring. You know, the Way of the Samurai series, I'd recommend if you can get 3, even 4. Honestly, I recommend them all. If you can get them. I want to do a tier list of the Way of the Samurai games, but I've yet to actually find a tier list. Maybe I can build one myself. I don't know. King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited Match, classic. 98 Final Edition, classic. 13, classic. 14, classic. Or all of them are pretty good. I don't know if I say classic. I should slow down, but 14 is really good, honestly. I think I prefer 14 over 13 just for the cast of characters, and they have whip. So 98, King of Fighters 98 is still my favorite of all time, but it goes 98 and then closely followed behind is 2002. 2002 is really good. It's just the roster of 98 to me is what I prefer. And then I put 14 and then 13. And the only reason why I put 14 so high is because the roster is freaking huge. 13 has a decent sized roster, but a lot of my favorites are not there. Like Whip is not there, and a couple of others. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I tried to get back into this not too long ago, but yeah, I was a little too positive when I reviewed it initially because it does get very repetitive very quickly. I just feel like it's a product of its time too. Like, it came out in 7th generation, and yeah, it has a lot of content, but it's kind of samey. King's Bounty, I really got to get into these games. Like, I bought these and I've never played them. I really have to sit down and play them. Knights of Honor, I've actually played this, and you know, for the time, it was actually a pretty good game. Like, you know, get to take control of any kingdom from the Middle Ages, so it's a lot of fun. But once you grow, it's like it's that time period of strategy games where it's like you'll easily start steamrolling once you grow. Night Shift, I want to get into these games. I want to get into this game one day, but I have to find the time. Now we got the Lego games. I got Undercover, Marvel Superheroes, which I have yet to play, Star Wars 3, which is a lot of fun. I haven't played it a lot on the Steam version, but I have played this game a lot. Lego Worlds, I put a lot of time into this game just to finally get the 100 gold bricks, and it's like, oh, there's more, and I'm like, no, I am done. Disappointing game. Disappointing game. Lords of the Fallen, talked about this before. Lords of the Ring, War in the North, talked about it before. Lauren the Amazon Princess, talked about it. Lost Epic, talked about it. The Magica games, I feel like a lot of people like the first one. It honestly, it's a co-op game. Like, I played it with my friend, but I don't know if it's something I'd play by myself. And the second one I heard is not as good. Mass Builder, a lot of fun. Recently reviewed this. Massive Chalice could have been a great game, but just a lot of issues. I reviewed it a long time ago, but I think it still holds up. Mech Armada, there may be a review in the future. That's all I'm going to say for this one. There may be a review in the future. Yeah, a lot of mech games, but then we move to Medieval. Boy. Medieval Dynasty, a lot of fun with this one. They're going to be putting hunting, or not hunting, but I think they're going to be putting like combat. We get shields and armor and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. But overall, I mean, I really like the game. It's you know, survival game in medieval times, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I have yet to actually play Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain or the Phantom Menace, whatever. I've yet to actually sit down and play. Mighty Number 9, disappointment. Monster Hunter World, I put a lot of time into it, but nearly not enough time as most people. I mean, 70 hours, 71 hours, like that's nothing compared to people putting in like 300, 400, 500, like nothing. It's a lot of fun, especially co-op. I really like the Monster Hunter series. But yeah, it is very intense. Like, it takes a lot of time, and that's why I haven't like came back to play it. But you know, it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend Monster Hunter World. I don't know if I'm gonna get the Iceborne expansion, but yeah, I also wanted to review this game at one point, but I was like, you know, there's so, like, this game has been covered to death. Like, there's tutorials on like every single weapon type and every weapon and all that stuff. There's so much content out there on Monster Hunter World. I really don't have much to add to it. Monster Prom, I got a bit of a story with this. I bought it because I was dating someone, and I was like, oh, it would be enjoyable, like, you know, you and me play this game. Yeah, it's not my thing. That's all I'm gonna say. Mortal Kombat, you already know, 1, 2, 3 classics. 9 I really haven't played a lot of, which I should. 10 I played a decent amount. I'm just not that crazy about the Mortal Kombat series like other people are. I could just never get into it as other people. Like, I'm more into like the Soul Calibur and Tekken. Tekken used to be my thing back in the day. But overall, I'm just not into fighting games as much as I used to. I used to really love fighters, but you know, not as many come out, so it's like I can't wait for the next fighting game because they take so long to come out, at least the ones I'm looking forward to. So I just keep myself occupied with other games in the meantime. I'm just not into fighting games like I used to be, you know, as stated before. Mortal Shell, I've been thinking about reviewing this one. I'm hesitant. We'll see. Bannerlord, I still play the hell out of this game. I put a lot of time into it, over 200 hours. And I really just want this game to be released so we can get proper workshop support, get some mods, and that's really when the game is going to start shining. I got a couple of Need for Speed games. I got Hot Pursuit, never played it. Shift, I've played a decent amount, but I can't get into it anymore. I wanted to get into it more, but I just can't. And Need for Speed Undercover, a lot of people say this game sucks, but I really want to see if it actually does. I don't know if I'm going to do a review, but one day I want to see if it's actually as bad as they say it is. Neo 1, I've played it, I've beaten it, but I don't know if I'll go back to it. The 56.5 hours, probably like 40 of them was just repeating the same thing, dying over and over again. Nights into Dreams, that a game, people love this game. I haven't played it myself personally. Nobunaga's Ambitions, I enjoyed both of these games. Ascension I played a lot of, as well as the regular Sphere of Influence if I just want to play as a ruler. If I just want to play as a ruler, I go Sphere of Influence. If I want to play as an officer, I go Ascension. That's how I look at either of them, especially because for Sphere of Influence, you can succeed. So like, you can be like, okay, I'm done playing as this ruler. You can succeed and have someone else step up, which I appreciate. Or Murder City of Gangsters, I've had this for a while and I really want to play it to see if it's as bad or as disappointing as a lot of people say. Oriental Empires, it was okay for the time. Now that it's out of early access, I have played it only a couple times. The combat still sucks, so I don't really recommend it anymore. Osiris New Dawn, now this is a game that's gone through tumultuous like development and somehow is, you know, starting to kick up on an upward trend. I've wanted to review this many times, but it's a lot. Like I think it's still in early access, but it's like they keep doing updates and it's like they keep starting and stopping, so I have no clue like what's going on with this game anymore. But one day I think I'll tackle this game. Other Side, I throw it to the other side. Great great soundtrack, great visual style, but the game is very repetitive, very boring, very quickly. Once you figure out the whole loop is like, okay, yeah, it's just a waiting game. I got the Overlord games. I think a lot of people like these, but I haven't played them myself. Maybe one of these days. Pathfinder is another CRPG I have to play one of these days. So many RPGs that I just have to play. Pillars of Eternity, I played a decent amount, but I'm just not into the combat of these games. I tried to play the second one, Deadfire, because I got a pretty good deal of it, but I kind of just couldn't get into it. I don't really know. It's just, you know, I've played a lot of Divinity Original Sin 2, and I think that's the problem. I feel like Divinity Original Sin 2 has really just made it hard to go back to some of these CRPGs that don't really have this kind of combat. I also played Solasta, and the same thing happened, where it's just I got bored. It's unfortunate because I don't think these games are bad. It's just there's something that I can't say why. They have a lot of what I want on paper, but some reason I just can't. The play Kingdoms Wars, also known as Kingdom Wars 4, is updated a week ago, so if y'all want to play that, you can play that. Planet Coaster, I've done a review on this. I've also reviewed that too, the play Kingdom Wars 2. Pyre is a game I'd recommend. It's not my kind of game, but I definitely recommend it. It's basically like a visual novel meets some sort of 3-on-3 basketball kind of thing. I think it's like basketball and stuff. And it's honestly really fun. I love the combination of the two. I haven't played it in a while, but I really, you know, got into the characters. I really love the story, the lore, and just everything about this game is a lot of fun. Especially like once you win. You know what? I'm not going to say anything because it's like spoiling the game. But yeah, I definitely recommend at least one playthrough of this one. Really good. We got the Quake games, Quake Champions, Quake 3 Arena, which is a lot of fun, and Team Arena. I have a couple more of the Quake games on my GLG, but these are here. Rage. Yeah, I got none of that. Redout is like has like the F-Zero, but I was like, man, I'm really not a fan of this track design. I don't know what it is with racing games with either horrible track design or horrible AI. It's like one of the two. Remnant from the Ashes. I played this a decent amount. I couldn't get into it. Or it just rubbed me the wrong way. I just feel like it's not that good of a game. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like this game, but to me, nah, it wasn't my thing. Rise of Nations. I really have to sit down and play this one day. I'm always recommended this game, and I really have to sit down and play it. Rising Kingdoms. I was thinking about doing a review of this one. It's actually a lot of fun. So I would recommend that. RoboQuest, I've talked about this before. Risk of Rain 2. I really wanted to like this game and I just can't. And it's crazy because it's like overwhelmingly positive, but personally I just couldn't get into it. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13. I still recommend it. I put a lot of time into it. I haven't played it in a while. I haven't really played any of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms games in a while. But yeah, I'd still recommend these. We got some of the Sacred games here. I haven't played Citadel. I've played 2. It's fun for what it is. You know, it's an action RPG. It's one of the Diablo games. It is what it is. I haven't played 3. I haven't heard a lot of good things, so I haven't played it. Saga Scarlet Grace. I've played this, and I really enjoy it. I want to get back into this because I've beaten 2 of the characters so far. And I'm on my 3rd character. I'm on the magic chick. And I want to just beat that and then go to the last character. So far so good, and I still enjoy it. I just have to get back to it one of these days to beat the characters. I did the same thing with Saga Frontier or Frontier Saga. Saga Frontier? Frontier Saga, where I went in and I beat like a couple of the characters, took a break, beat a couple more of the characters, took a break. So it's just how it is when it comes to Saga games. Now we get to Samurai Warriors 4-2. This is a lot of fun. I put a lot of time into it, but I haven't gone back to it in a while. But the Samurai Warriors games I think are on the up. I haven't played 5 though. Shadow Tactics is one game that I really have to play. I've been thinking about doing a review on it, but I'm not sure on if I should or not. Then we got some of the Shadow Warrior games. We got the 2 new ones, and then we got the classic one. I played 2 and then I stopped playing 2. I don't know why, but just I have to get back. Sometimes I play games that I stop playing and I have no idea why. Shogun Total War, classic, or at least old. I don't know if I say classic, but it's old. Shopkeep, bit disappointing this game. I haven't played 2 as much, but I heard it's not as good. It was very promising in early access, and then it just never really got to that second gear, unfortunately. And I think Shopkeep 2 is like the same thing. It's just it never reaches its full potential, which is disappointing. We got Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth. We got 3, we got 4, we got 5, we got 6, we got 7. So I haven't really played the Civilization games as much. My favorite Civilization game, or whatever Civilization like, is Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, and I haven't felt, and I feel like I haven't really played a game that matched it. Unfortunately, Beyond Earth really couldn't do that. Sid Meier's Pirates is a classic though, and Solasta, as I mentioned before. I really thought this game was going to be good. Like, I really got into it, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm so sick of the combat, because it's like, it seems like a lot of the encounters are so hardly designed for you. I think it also doesn't help that I'm not like the most familiar with D&D rules, so there you go. We got some of the Sonic games. We got Sonic R-Stars Racing, DX, Generations, Mania. So I want to play Mania one day. I'm not like a big Sonic fan or anything like that. I like the character himself, and I like some of the things about Sonic, the shows and all that stuff. But I'm not like the biggest Sonic fan or anything like that. Soul Calibur 6, like I said, still play this from time to time. Really enjoy it. One of my favorite Soul Calibur games of all time. And I put it pretty high on my tier list because I just think it is that fun. Space Empire series, I've played 4 and 5 a decent amount. 4 I've played more on GOG. 5 I played it here. I want to get back into it because I actually did enjoy Space Empires 5 for what it was. Space-Based Startopia, I was really excited for this game. I don't know why it says 0 minutes because I put time in this. But unfortunately it just didn't live up to expectations, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to getting into this, and you know, just I prefer the original. Original is much better. Then we get the Star Wars Battlefront, Battlefront 2, Battlefront 1. Not sure why they're out of order, but look, classic. I don't even need to say classic. It's already a classic. We got Star Wars Empire at War. I'm not sure why it says 0. I'm definitely have played this before, but sometimes it just doesn't record. Jedi Fallen Order, I've played this, but it's okay. You know, it's a dark. It's got some elements of Souls games in the Star Wars universe. It's an okay game. It's very short. It is what it is. But yeah, we got a lot of Star Wars games. Dark Forces, classic, even though I haven't played it much. Dark Forces 2. I actually have this on GOG and I've beaten it recently. It's still a lot of fun. Jedi Outcast 2. Again, I don't know why there's no time on it. Same with Academy. There's only like 2. But these two, especially Academy. Academy back in the day, I had it I had a box PC for this. I played the hell out of this game. A lot of fun. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. You know, I played these a lot back in the day. Not really much of the Steam version. Both were very enjoyable. Especially the second one I played a lot more, surprisingly, than the first. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but take it for what you will. Star Wars Rebellion I really want to get into because it's basically Star Wars Grand Strategy, which is freaking insane, and why this hasn't been done more, I have no idea. Republic Commando, played the hell out of this back in the day. I had it on the CD. I didn't have the Steam version, but I played it on XP and it ran smoothly. I think it runs fine now, but I remember going back to it and it running not very well, but I think it has some compatibility issues on Windows 10. Starfighter, I only played demos of this. I know some of these games are fine, but I know some of them have compatibility issues. And here's TIE Fighter, X-Wing Alliance, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, all of them classics. Steel Division 2, I was recommended this, and Warzone or War something. I really need to play these games. Stellar Tactics, I tried to play it and I just couldn't get into the graphics and UI. Stellaris is another grand strategy game that I have yet to play from Paradox, and I really should. Streets of Rogue, ton of fun. The Surge 2, I played this a good amount, but I really can't stand the world and I really can't stand the people, so I was like, yeah, I'm not playing this. Anyone remember the Swords and Sandals games? These things were like classics. I think I played it on a couple websites. I want to say Congregate or Miniclip, or probably not Miniclip. I know I played it on a few like of online flash sites, but I don't remember which one. Addicting Games maybe. There was a lot of these sites, so I just remember playing the hell out of the Swords and Sandals, especially the second one. The second one is a classic. I played it. I went back to it to play it. It's pretty fun. Tales of Berseria, I played a lot of this, but I couldn't get into this. Or actually, no. I really enjoyed the story. It's just the combat got very repetitive. Tekken 7, I haven't played this in a while. It's too serious for me. I'm just not into the Tekken like I used to be. Alright, now we get to the T's. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Lockdown, Torchlight 2, Total War Attila. Yo, I put a lot of time into Attila, over 500. Empire, over 100. Medieval 2, 241. Napoleon, not a lot. Rome 2, almost 300. The remastered, not a lot. Britannia, I put 16.5 and still able to complete a campaign, so go figure. And then Shogun 2, I put about 260. Three Kingdoms, 152. The first one, Warhammer, about, you know, a little bit less than 40. Warhammer 2, 456. Warhammer 3, I've put 60, but I know that's going to get up there to like 200, 300 easily once the Immortal Empire is released. Tokiden, I played and reviewed the first one. I enjoyed it. The second one too, I've enjoyed. I think the second one is far better than the first. So if you had to pick Tokiden 2 or Tokiden 1, pick 2. I don't think a third one's coming out. It might be because of sales. Two Worlds, I've actually never played that. Tyranny is another CRPG that, you know, I have to play one of these days. Valrithian Arc I've beaten recently. It's basically you have an academy and you have students and you try to raise them and put them in different professions and whatnot. The idea is really good. They had 2 Flash games on Congregate that I played a lot. The second one especially is really good. This one was their first introduction into 3D, and unfortunately it's not as good as it could have been. But there is a sequel coming out, so hopefully it's better. All right, War Game, yeah, that's what it was. I was recommended War Game Red Dragon, so I got that, and thinking about reviewing it one of these days. Dawn of War series, classic. If you guys want me to review the Dawn of War series, definitely let me know. Space Marine, if you want me to talk about that. Any of the Warhammer 40k games, if you want me to talk about, let me know. I thought this game was going to be good. I really have tried, and I'm just disappointed all around. It's very boring. The voice actor for the main character sucks. Honestly disappointing. This is kind of a basic game, not really a lot to talk about. Vermintide 2, played the hell out of this one. It's basically Left 4 Dead 2. I think a lot of people know this, but it's Left 4 Dead with Warhammer characters. A lot of fun, a lot of great wit, but man, it is very stressful on the higher difficulties. Warlander, disappointing game. I thought it was going to be good, but I don't even think you could buy it anymore. They took it off the shelves. War Tales, I've reviewed this year, and I'm still playing it. Like, as you can see, they just did an update to enhance the level cap, as well as fix a couple things. So it's in a much better place than when I first played it, which is crazy because it was already in a good place when I first played it. Wreckfest is like similar to the Fallout series or Flatout series. I was not that into it. I feel like it's trying to be too much like Flatout 1 compared to 2. So it's just not as fun to me. Flatout 2 is just like crazy with the crashes and stuff. But it's not as enjoyable as that one. It's like I said, it feels like it's trying to be too much the first game rather than the second. Which is a shame. And then we got some XCOM games, Enemy Unknown, UFO Defense 2, Terror from the Deep. Not much to really say about these games. If you guys want a review of the XCOM games, let me know. I did Chimera Squad. But if you want like 2 or Enemy Unknown, just let me know. Or any of the classics, you know, let me know. And that's really it. Oh, they got a Bloody Spell. But yeah, that's really it in terms of, you know, my collection. And whew, I am exhausted. That was long. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching as always. Like I said, next time I do this, it will focus more on the GOG as well as the other accounts that I have. And as always, thank you for watching. This is Powerhouse signing off.